I'm about to give you the only shift that really matters when it comes to this journey of life and this journey of manifestation or trying to change your life around. I'm about to give you what everyone seems to beat around the bush on and never really specify in layman's terms. I'm about to give you it straight up. All of us exist in this realm, in this chaotic realm, and there is one thing that everyone likes to avoid and like to not admit that there actually might be quite a bit of truth to that, and that's that things are just random. Things in this world just happen. There are billions of people like you, billions of human souls that have their own motives, that have their own ideas, values, goals, and these are all conflicting. As society as a whole and individually, there are so many complicated machines going about to where the world is just random. There is often times that you can do nothing else but just succumb to the randomness. That is the toughest pill to swallow of this entire video. So if you need to pause for a second, or if that upsets you, sit with that for a second. Because once you accept that, you can move on to accept this next part, which is very, very empowering. Imagine yourself as a fishing net. And don't get too complicated on this metaphor, just imagine it for a second. And the bigger the net you are, the more fish you're likely going to catch. Of course, there's other factors that play into this. I know that. I don't want to upset all the fishermen and all that. I'm just using a metaphor. But when you cast your net out, and when it's bigger, you're going to catch more fish. You're going to have more success versus when it's small. And the metaphor I'm trying to make here is pretty simple. You take care of yourself. You take care of all of the things that actually are in your control in your life. You are going to increase your odds to near guarantee to lead yourself to the goals and the visions and the manifestations that you want. See, I love the talk online about manifestation. I love a lot of it because it's very helpful. It helps your mind. But I don't see enough of people realizing that manifestation is about self-responsibility. Yes, the randomness may favor you sometimes. Oftentimes, the randomness may not favor you. My whole point, and what I believe to be true and the most helpful, is why would you leave your life up to randomness? Obviously, some things are going to happen regardless of what you do, and that just is what it is. But if you want to take a stake, if you want to plant your life down in this absolute vast ocean of chaos and randomness to actually give yourself a shot at a dream life, you have to understand that that burden of responsibility falls on your shoulders. Do some people randomly get the life of their dreams? Of course. Do some people randomly have things fall into their lap? Of course. I think a lot of it is over-exaggerated. And of course, if you're in a spot where you're trying to manifest and get to these certain points and you see someone else get it with seemingly little to no effort and you don't even know the full story, of course that's going to sting. Of course you're going to claim that this world is unfair. That's something else you just have to accept. That this world is unfair sometimes. Not only is it random, it's chaotic, it's unfair. That is another tough pill to swallow. But once you do, you realize the power that you have. What's crazy is there's so much talk about things you can control and can't control. And to be honest with you, living through my life, I realize that about 90% of my life is stuff that's under my control. My daily habits, the things that I do, my daily routines, the things I habitually do. And there is so much that falls under that blanket. But us as humans, including myself, we love to focus on the 10% that we can't control. But let me ask you this. If you took care of that 90% and you were actually firing on all cylinders, would your life not get significantly better? And overall, would your life not be great? 90% of it is under your control and going the way you want it to. The 10% at that point, I mean, let's be honest, if we're talking about random things, you can increase your odds. Whatever it may be, you can take risks. But now, you're not operating from a spot where 20% of your life is under control. You're at that full 90% of, I've controlled this. I have these habits down. I have my daily routines down. I have my health down. I'm taken care of. So now I'm operating from that spot. That's ultimate confidence. That's confidence in myself. That's a near guarantee that at some point, something's going to fall for me. Something's going to drop. Something with this nonstop just working in the smartest and efficient way possible and putting myself out there, planting seeds and doing everything I can. Something is going to fall for me in my lap. And to other people, and maybe even to myself, it's going to seem random at the time. But then I'm going to look back and realize, wait a minute, I've been doing this work. I've been doing this work for months, maybe even years. This was designed. This was meant for me. This was not random. I was not a victim of randomness. I simply put myself in a better spot by taking care of everything that I could control, expanding my net, and thus things fell into my lap. That's what it looks like from the outside. And other people are going to say the same things that you have probably said about other people. Oh man, it just fell into his or her lap. It just fell into their lap. Why do they get to be so lucky? Man, I wish I could have that. And they don't know what you've been through. So again, this is the part where I will say, if you have found yourself in a dark spot recently, habitually, you have to understand that that is just part of the journey. That is. And if it seems like it's never ending, that's when you have to address the things that are bothering you. You really have to sit and grieve and do the shadow work. There is no easy way around that. There are plenty of methods to do it, but it is uncomfortable. But I promise you that is the way forward. When things are uncomfortable, usually they are an indicator that that is the right direction and you are expanding. And again, I will go back to my point. The toughest pill to swallow is realizing that this world really is random and chaotic. But swallowing that pill and grieving what that means for you and grieving the randomness that has been to your life, it might have caused you a lot of pain, grieving all of that is going to lead you to the greener grass on the other side. It's going to let you realize, okay, this really is up to me. That's actually good for you. Because if you truthfully left your life up to chance, like you likely have been your entire life, guess what? Things aren't going to go in your favor, very likely. And things don't go in people's favor very likely at all when they think this way. They think the universe is just going to hand them stuff. Sometimes it does. But what I want to distance the idea from, or distance ourselves from the idea, is that a lot of these people that talk about manifestation, all this stuff, really just hone in on the randomness of the universe. Yes, this universe works very mysteriously sometimes. But I don't want your life to be left up to that. I don't. I don't want you to be saying affirmations for 6 months and doing nothing else and expecting something to happen. Are affirmations great? Of course, I do them. You should do them. But you should understand what they are actually doing for you. They are improving your own state. That is something that falls under your control. Do not start to treat it like some sort of lottery system, or vending machine rather, where you do all this work, okay, I did it, now I get all my stuff. No. No, no, no. This whole journey, this manifestation journey, is putting ourselves in the absolute best and most efficient spot to give ourselves the greatest chance of our dream reality actually happening for us. Ladies and gentlemen, I will always preach self-responsibility. Even if it's not in all of my videos, it is the core of what I communicate through these videos because I know the power of it. I reflect back, and you can do this same thing. I reflect back on my life and all of the moments where I felt victorious and I got things done and I actually felt accomplished were things that I did. And I know that may sound very simple and straightforward, like, yeah, duh, of course. But I faced this whole truth that a lot of people sell on manifestation, where they're just like, just do all this stuff, focus on yourself, don't do anything outside of that, and you'll be fine. And it's incomplete. It's incomplete. That is the first step. Yes, it's okay to, buckle down for a little bit and just focus on yourself and kind of forget all the stuff that you can't control, hone in and take care of yourself. But you must understand that that is simply the first step. Even if it takes quite a bit, that is getting you to the point that you actually want to be. And you must recognize that. You must recognize that this journey really is never going to stop. And if you drive yourself by always like, oh, I want more, I want more, I want more, you're never truthfully going to be satisfied. Versus you veer your life towards, no, I'm going to take care of everything that I can control. So I can consistently be in the spot that I want to be. Consistently be in the state of being that I actually dream of. That way, everything outside of me that falls under that randomness and chaos of this world is just an added bonus. That is a much more efficient way of being happy. I know I said a lot in this video. I know it may be a lot for you to take in and sit on, and I would kindly request that you do. Not for me, but for you. Because I want to tell you this, if you've never been told this before, you can do this. The craziest dreams, the ones that you may not give too much thought to because they scare you, and they might not merge with who you think you are in your self-image, those are the ones that you must chase. They were literally designed for you. No one else was meant to walk your path. And I know it's very easy, especially in today's world of social media and just in general media, comparing yourself. It's very easy for us to do. It's a human thing to do in today's world. But to combat that, you must tell yourself, I am the only one that's meant to walk my path. I am the only one that has been carved for this path. And nothing happens for no reason. But if I just sit here and I wallow in my sadness and I perpetuate that, all of this is going to be for no reason. There is going to be no payoff. It's going to be a life, a nonstop life of just self-pity. And I know that stings, but you must sit with that if you want to get to the other side. Because again, you're just like me, you're just like everyone else, and you are just like the people that have gained success. You are just like the people who have found yourselves in the exact same spot, no matter how confusing and desperate, and they have literally made it to the mountaintop. You are no different than them. I promise you that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day.